Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're talking about NN no Shubutai, or Shibutai I should say, Fire Brigade of Flames, chapter 19 and 20 to be exact. It dropped, well, Scanlation dropped late last week, but being that I've got a schedule where I try to do NN no Shubutai on Tuesday or a Wednesday, and unfortunately I couldn't do it yesterday, as if you did check out my previous video for today for Black Clover, I fell asleep, which is never good to keep schedules anyway. So the next best thing is to release it today, just to kind of, for those that are actually interested in this series. I have got a playlist, on my channel that has all that information. Also, we are a few chapters behind, so there will be potentially rows out there that are ahead of where we are now. So this is based on when the scanlations translate and release them, normally on Manga Reader, Manga Panda, Manga Stream, Kiss Manga, and so on and so forth. So this came out, I was looking forward to reviewing it, and now I'm going to get my chance. So without further ado, let's get into this review. So, being that it's a double chapter, it's 19 and 20, it's difficult for me to make a 5-point review and be fair. To explain this, there wasn't really enough separate points for me to have 5 points. So what I'm looking to do is review chapter 19 as a whole, because that was very simple in its structure, and 20 I'll break down into little points. But let's get into it. So chapter 19, for the most part, it was really flashback and shows the backstory of Princess Hibana, the 5th Division commander. So I've made some notes on it, so if I do look down, I'm just going over it just to make sure I don't miss anything important. But here's a few things that were made clear that weren't made clear in the previous kind of introductions or chapters based on her. So we were told that part of her realization was the fire, and the fact that she couldn't protect people, or they couldn't be protected by fire, from the fire. What we didn't know was she had the ability of fire manipulation way before the fire, and she constantly got in trouble for it. So she was able to manipulate fire way before that. So it wasn't that she saw the fire and she could manipulate there and then. It wasn't like it was a life or death situation. It was pretty much something she could do for a while. She used to create beautiful flowers, and it was revealed that she was of high aptitude for chemistry. So she was a chemist, so to speak. And she could manipulate fire to kind of create colours and stuff like that. And everyone in the orphanage looked up to her, including Iris, who was a shy little girl at this point. So she would always get in trouble, and we saw that she was fond of by the children, liked her. So did Iris. Iris saw her as a hero, so to speak, looked up to her. And then the events of the fire happen, and then we pretty much come way back to the end of the chapter, which pretty much is the realization that she's been defeated, and her saying that, look, you might have had your hero, I had nobody. A bit of a cheesy line from Shinra, basically saying, if you need a hero, if you're ever in need, call me. It was kind of really a cheesy line, kind of from the 80s and the 90s, so to speak. It was kind of like, I will be there with no prejudice. That is what a hero does. It works for the character. It's kind of Naruto-esque, I guess, in that sense, where that's his way of being a hero, which is absolutely fine. He's the main character, and it does kind of reassert that he is the main guy, he's a good guy, and he's one of the good ones, so to speak. So not a lot really happens in that, other than that we find out that pretty much he had the ability beforehand, and that is basically it. So that's why I didn't want to make 5 points on this first chapter, because literally nothing happens other than we find out those little interesting points. We get like a little scene at the end where the flowers and stuff like that. She produces more flowers because she goes, oh Iris, I promised if you became less shy that I would show you this, because she was very introvert, and basically she does, and that's basically it. This sets up the next chapter, which I'll do in a separate clip, which is going to come next. So chapter 20 is a little bit more interesting because we get a little bit more information. Don't get me wrong, it isn't that much more information, but it does a brilliant job in setting things up. So the idea at the end of the last chapter was pretty much, okay, you've defeated me now, you raided my, this is Hibana talking now, you raided my facility, you've come for the data, I might as well tell you what's going on. And then we move into chapter 20. So before we can set up this information, what effectively happens is they need to kind of, I guess, explain why 8th have raided 5th, so to speak. And mind you, when they raided them, basically the crew commander, bang, the fire manipulator of the brigade, not the battalion commander, Obi, the second in command, so to speak, basically wipes the floor with the rest of them. So essentially, the 5th aren't really that strong in that area, but we find out why though. I'll talk about that. So we find out the 5th pretty much got wiped out. Obi didn't ever really show up in the fight because he was busy trying to explain or trying to set up why they were there in the first place. So he was going to make it out like it was an exercise, but things got sped up because Iris went there, and the rest is history again, I guess. So that was explained. So Hibana basically says, look, you're not going to get the help of the 5th division, but you'll get my help. And it's explained that this 5th division, for all intents and purposes, is a subdivision. It isn't really the main part of the 5th division, is the research side. And the reason why she got all of this was because when the whole thing with the fire happened in the previous chapter, as it was explained, she began going to the black market, getting test subjects, and really kind of ramping up her research, which caught the eye of Hajima. They basically give research to everything. They go, look, we'll give you the 5th division seat and everything else. So of all intents and purposes, the 5th division is under their control. But this was just a subdivision for research and development, so there's a lot more to it, and it's explained that you're basically not ready for them. So we've got the excuse now. Here's the thing though, that's the excuse, but how do you push it out there? So Iris comes up with the idea of having a barbecue, so to speak. So they have a barbecue. To be fair, it's actually good that they do that, because a lot of the underlings and the low people in the 5th division kind of think, oh yeah, it was just a training exercise, we're going to get in trouble for this later because we got our asses kicked, which is good because realistically they're just following Hibana's lead, so they're not necessarily bad people, but it's like anything, you protect your leaders, you protect the goal they set, you believe in somebody and you follow them, right? Kind of like how humans do with politicians and how we people do in real life, I guess. So it's a normal kind of occurrence for that to be that way. So they're not particularly bad, although some of the higher ups are a bit more schemish. But yeah, they're not overall bad. So it was good they did that. Then we get the information. This is where it gets interesting. So Hibana found out that people were artificially, synthetically being made to turn into flame people. Hibana wants revenge on those people because that was the cause of people that she knew and loved, all the little children, all the sisters, all the orphans, being burned alive, and she couldn't do anything to save them. So she's motivated by revenge for this. She wants vengeance for this. And she also says that within a certain district there seem to be a higher concentration of them. They seem to all be concentrated over there. That district is in the jurisdiction of the 1st Division. Then we get the chapel, the Grand Chapel of the 1st Division. We see the company commanders with battalion commanders all there. They've got 3 company commanders. So that would show the difference between them and the 8th. So they've got big backing, and you got the main guy, eye patch 2 with the beard that we saw earlier on there as well. So that is the chapter, if we're going to do it like a play-by-play kind of thing. But here's a few points to consider with it. Okay, number 1. How does the guy with the hat play into all this? I know he's got the scientist dude and he was setting things up in earlier chapters. How did this play into all this? Do you think, from a story point of view, being that we're only in chapter 20, I know it's a bit ahead in the raw, that it's so early to find out exactly what's going on. So bearing in mind it's a weekly chapter, but I've just come to chapter 20 to find out everything straight away. It's interesting. It hopefully doesn't mean this is a shorter series, because I'm really looking for that next thing that's going to be a 700 and 800 chapter series. We don't really have much of those. I mean, for example, we had Assassination Classroom, which I was ready to review. I had so many good things about it. I was excited about the concept. It blew up, and I was, in regards to popularity, I thought, brilliant, let's get into this. And then about 2 months ago I got told, yeah, they're in the final arc down, and then I found out it's finishing. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping this isn't going to be one of those. I kind of same thing with Black Clover. Black Clover Potentially we found out who's the couplet's going to be. I'm hoping there's a twist, but that's Black Clover. That's a different video, but you get the point though. You don't want it to be that short of a series, I guess, from my point of view. I want these to come forward, to have animes, to blow up, to really get the industry going, manga and anime side of things, just so we can enjoy this, and you know, I can really review and watch these things bloom and become bigger and better. Now that's another point. So another thing to consider with this is the point Hibana makes is in the chapter. She basically says, "How did you know that we had that information? Who is backing you?" And she's talking to Obi, and Obi like nah, but he doesn't really answer. He doesn't say oh no specifically. He just kind of like plays it off. So how did he have that information that the 5th Division had that research information? Do you know what I mean? Who's his source? Now that he's found out the 1st Division's involved, do you think it's too soon for them to go to the 1st Division? Bearing in mind we haven't seen anything of the 1st Division. All we've been revealed to division wise is 1, 2, 5 and 8. What about 3? What about 4? What about 6? What about 7? What's going on with them? We haven't really everything hasn't been revealed. I'm hoping they get to 1 and 1 we don't know as much about, or maybe it's a former employee, or I'm hoping there's a lot more to it than a simple case of yeah, I'm the bad guy, yeah, I did everything, oh, blah 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 blah. You don't want that to be the case. But that being said, these mangaka, these storytellers are very creative. I'm sure they'll come up with something amazing. I'm just looking forward to reading it and reviewing it for you guys. If this is something you enjoy, I am putting this out there because, to be fair, this is something I enjoy. I'm really interested in the new kind of upcoming series. Give me a thumbs up, let me know you've enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section below. If there's something you haven't enjoyed as much, let me know. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I normally leave a thumbs up around here, or like a thumbnail or something like that, but please subscribe anyway to show your support. I do give you regular reviews. I am always expanding. I cover at least 7 weeklies and 2 monthlies, of which I will be doing in this week. Dragon Ball Super and Platinum End, which have dropped. I just haven't reviewed them. So just continue to show your support, and hopefully, you know, we can grow this channel together. We can develop a community, and I really need a name for you people. You subscribers, you loyal supporters, you like-minded individuals that have subscribed to view these videos. The ones that you prefer, so whichever series you like is fine. What do you think this community should be called? I mean, the channel's called Clues, Cues and Reviews, but that's not necessarily anything to go by. Pick a name for me. Let me know in the comment section below in any of my videos, and hopefully we'll have a name for this growing community. And in every video I'm letting everybody know I have a target. Please help me achieve it. I want to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. Sounds crazy, right? But I know if I'm doing the right things, if I'm making videos that are informative, we can get there. Thank you very much for your continued support, and hopefully you continue supporting me. For now, peace.